Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through some player props I like over on Prizepicks for the Week 11 Monday Night Football game we got between the Texans and the Cowboys. Going to break down some props I like for this game over on Prizepicks. Got two plays that we're going to share in this video, guys. Now, as always, before we do talk through these two plays, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they do help you out, make sure to hit that like button down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel and if you are new to Prizepicks, be sure to sign up for Prizepicks. Use promo code NOAH when you do. And when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and place your first lineup, you'll get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. So you sign up, make a deposit. Let's say you only want to deposit $10. You put in $10, play a $5 lineup. Even if you lose that $5 lineup, Prizepicks is going to give you $50 in promo funds that you can then use to play additional lineups. Any money you win off those is credit, which you can either keep playing with or withdraw if you want to do so. So go check out Prizepicks, guys. Take advantage of that promo, and again, use that code NOAH when you sign up. And then also, do want to shout out Sleeper because we do have a partnership with Sleeper as well, and you guys can sign up for Sleeper. Use promo code NOAH over there, and for a limited time, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $1,500. Yes, you heard me correctly, $1,500. So if you are able to put in a larger deposit, obviously you don't have to, but if you are able to put in a larger deposit for a limited time, you can get your first deposit matched up to $1,500. So if you put in $1,500, Prizepicks is going to, or excuse me, not Prizepicks, Sleeper is going to give you an additional $1,500 to play with. So be sure to go check out Sleeper, guys. Again, use that promo code NOAH when you sign up. And if you don't know what Sleeper is, they're a DFS pick'em app. They're very similar to Prizepicks. You're just picking more or less on player projections. You're building out an entry. You can make up to an 8-pick entry on Sleeper. You can win up to 100x your money. So go check them out, guys. And again, use that code NOAH when you sign up for Sleeper to get your deposit bonus. But we got two plays to talk about for Monday Night Football. Now, I do want to recap our 4 plays that we gave out for the full Sunday slate. So we hit 2 out of the 4 plays that we gave out Sunday. Unfortunately, the plays that missed were the correlated stack that we did with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce over yards. And that just shows you that the correlation on that stack works because Mahomes went under, which meant Kelce also went under. And that's kind of what you play for. You play for the correlation there. We did hit our other 2 plays. Demario Douglas over 3.5 receptions. Bo Nix over 16.5 fantasy score. But our correlated stack missed, so it was a loss on the day. It's been tough lately, I'll be honest. The plays have not been doing very well lately on this YouTube channel. Having a lot of days where we're going like 2-3. Went 2-4 in NFL yesterday. Tough, man. We haven't been able to get a full sweep, but hopefully we can hit both these plays for Monday night, get back on track here. And again, guys, we're going to break down these plays, and we're going to share why I like them. It's up to you if you want to tell, but I'm going to give you all the information, all the analysis I can to support why I like these plays. So both the props I do like for Monday night are going to be fantasy scores. Now, I do have some alternatives for those of you that maybe aren't on Prizepicks. If you can't take fantasy score, I'll give you some alternatives for that. But the first prop that I do like is going to be Tank Dell for more than 10.5 fantasy score. And if you are on a sports book, I do like Tank Dell over receptions. Now, we don't have a receptions prop on Tank Dell on Prizepicks right now, but I was looking at sports books. Most sports books have his receptions prop at 3.5, heavily favored towards the over. You could lay the juice on over 3.5 receptions or potentially look at taking Tank Dell over 4.5 receptions and getting plus money. Those are 2 bets I like on Dell for a sports book if you want to take those. But for this fantasy score prop on Prizepicks, really like this play for Tank Dell. For one, just kind of comparing some projections around the industry. The projections that I look at that do fantasy score, they have Tank Dell projected for closer to 14 fantasy points. The projections I look at have Dell for 13.8. Prizepicks has him at 10.5. And you can kind of look at Tank Dell's prop lines for Monday night. He's still projected for 49.5 receiving yards. Again, he's heavily favored for over 3.5 receptions. Now, I know that Nico Collins is back, and I'm expecting Nico Collins to have a pretty full workload. Like, there's really been no reports of Nico Collins being limited. So, sure, with Nico Collins coming back, maybe Tank Dell doesn't earn as high of a target share. But if you look at last season, in games where Nico Collins played with Tank Dell, in those games, Tank Dell still had a 22% target share, which was second highest on the team, right behind Nico Collins. And obviously those were without Stephon Diggs because Stephon Diggs wasn't on the team. And obviously right now, Stephon Diggs is out for injury right now. So like last season when Tank Dell was playing with just Nico Collins as the kind of top 2 receivers, he was still putting up really good numbers. Now this season, to start the season, Dell did not have great numbers, but I think that was mainly because he was operating as like the wide receiver 3. He was playing behind Diggs. He was playing behind Nico Collins, and to start the season, he was not doing very well. But then we saw Nico Collins miss a game against New England, and in that game, Dell did really well, had 18.7 fantasy points, had a weird game against Green Bay where he only got 4 targets and had 0 fantasy points, but then he bounced back the last 2 weeks without Nico Collins, without Nico Collins and without Stephon Diggs, because both those guys have been out the last few games. He had 18.6 against the Jets, he had 13.5 against the Colts. Last week against the Lions, he only had 8.3. But the underlying usage is still really good for Tank Dell. Like, he's still getting really good volume. He's had 9 targets in back-to-back games. Again, their last 2 games have been without both Diggs and Nico. Nico coming back. But I don't think we should just expect Tank Dell's target share to massively plummet with Nico Collins back. I still think we can project Tank Dell for probably 7 to 8 targets. And he's typically been a guy that can rack up receptions. He's been used more of like a low A dot receiver this year, running a lot of shorter routes, which when you're running shorter routes, it's going to be easier to get receptions on those. Hence, one of the reasons I like Dell over receptions. And for Prizepicks scoring, for fantasy score, it's huge when you can get wide receivers that can catch 4, 5, 6 balls, because you do get a point per reception. And if Tank Dell catches 5 or 6 passes, that's going to be huge for his fantasy score. And obviously with fantasy score, you have potential to get touchdowns. Dell has only scored 2 touchdowns this season, but it feels like he's due to get into the box. I mean, he's had 35 catches, 394 yards this year. He's been targeted 56 times, yet he only has 2 touchdowns. You would think he's probably due to get into the end zone pretty soon. Maybe he gets into the end zone in this game. Either way, I think 10.5 fantasy score line. This 10.5 fantasy score line on Prizepicks, given their full PPR scoring, this line does look a little bit low to me. I like this play quite a bit. This is going to be our first play for Monday Night Football. And again, if you're not on Prizepicks and you can't take fantasy score, I do like Tank Dell for over 3.5 receptions if you want to lay the juice on that. Or you can take him for over 4.5 receptions, get that at plus money. That's a prop I do like for Dell that's not fantasy score. And then the other prop that I like for this game, fantasy score, we're going to look at Jalen Tolbert. 5.5 fantasy score, really low line. Like the over here as well, more than 5.5 fantasy score on Jalen Tolbert. So Tolbert last week with Cooper Rush at quarterback did go under this fantasy score line. He had 4.4 fantasy score. But man, it's hard to weight the Cowboys game last week because they played like the worst game possible in terms of their offense. Their offense put up 6 points, and I'm pretty sure both of those were from field goals. I don't think they didn't score a single touchdown last week. Cooper Rush was atrocious last week. He threw for 45 yards on 23 pass attempts. I mean, the Cowboys' offense was literally the worst possible offense last week. You would think they have to be a little bit better here. Playing at home Monday night, like with a whole week to prepare for this game, you would think the Cowboys' offense is going to look better than they did last week. I mean, they can't really look much worse because last week their offense was literally it was rock bottom. It was worst possible offense you would ever see. And Jalen Tolbert was still able to put up 4.4 fantasy score last week, even with the Cowboys playing so poorly. In that game, he had 5 targets. He had 3 catches for 14 yards. Jalen Tolbert has been operating as the wide receiver 2 for the Cowboys as of late with Brandon Cooks out. Really, ever since Brandon Cooks' injury, it's been Tolbert who's been the guy that's gotten a big bump in playing time, big bump in snaps. Cooks got injured in their Week 4 game, or in Week 5. He hasn't played since Week 5. And since Week 5, we've seen Jalen Tolbert play 89%, 93%, 89%, 95%, and 93% of the offensive snaps. He has led the wide receiver core in snaps all of their last 5 games. So you're getting a bunch of snaps for Jalen Tolbert. He's going to be on the field a ton. This is a game script that projects to be one where the Cowboys will be playing from behind. They're 7-point underdogs in this game, so you would think they're going to probably be throwing here. You look at Cooper Rush's lines. I mean, he has a 33 pass attempts line, even though he only threw the ball 25 times last week or 23 times last week. The sports books are still expecting Cooper Rush to be throwing the ball a decent amount here. He has a 33 pass attempts line. If Cooper Rush throws the ball anywhere near 30 times, I think we got a pretty good chance at seeing 5-6 targets for Jalen Tolbert. And if he gets 5 or 6 targets, that should be enough volume for him to go over 5.5 fantasy score. It does not take much for him to go over this line. He could have 3 catches for 26 yards. He could have 2 catches for 36 yards, like very, not a very hard line to hit. And again, he's going to be on the field for close to every single snap. He's going to be running routes on probably every single one of Cooper Rush's dropbacks. The volume, it's not going to be huge in this Cowboys offense because obviously he's competing with CeeDee Lamb for targets. But I think we can still project Tolbert for probably 5 to 6 targets here, if not a bit more than that. Again, he had 5 targets last week in a game where Cooper Rush only threw the ball 23 times. Cooper Rush has a pass attempts line of 33 for Monday night. So if Cooper Rush throws the ball 10 more times than he did last week, then yeah, we could definitely see like 6 or 7 targets for Jalen Tolbert. And if you can't take fantasy score on Prizepicks, another prop that I do like is Tolbert over 2.5 receptions. Again, he did go over this line last week, even though he didn't go over his fantasy score. But that just feels like an outlier more than anything. I mean, he only had 14 yards on 3 receptions. Like, that's super, super low ADOT stuff. Like, I don't think the Cowboys completed any deep passes last week. They couldn't get anything going downfield. Every pass that Cooper Rush completed last week was like a short pass. Maybe, you would think the Cowboys are going to have to take some shots. They're not just going to sit there and check the ball down, every single play. So you could take 2.5 receptions. I think I like fantasy score a little bit more, though, just because you have more outs with fantasy score. And I could definitely see scenarios where Tolbert only gets 2 catches but still goes over this fantasy score line. Or he could only get 1 catch, and if that 1 catch is a touchdown, then he's obviously going to go over fantasy score. So I do like fantasy score a little bit more, but I also do like Tolbert for more than 2.5 receptions. Just betting on the roll here more than anything. I know Cooper Rush was atrocious last week. You would think Cooper Rush is going to look a little bit better this week. I mean, he can't really look much worse. And Tolbert's going to be out there for almost every single snap running routes. He's been a guy that has been able to earn targets when he's been on the field. He's been decent when he had Dak Prescott at quarterback. Obviously, with Cooper Rush, you expect the Cowboys' offense to be worse. But I don't know if it should be as bad as it was last week. It definitely should look a little bit better, I would hope. If it is as bad as it was last week, then this prop probably won't hit. But I feel fairly confident that the Cowboys' offense will look somewhat better than they did last week. And if that happens, I like our chances of getting 5.5 fantasy points from Jalen Tolbert. So these are the 2 props, guys, that we're going to roll with for Monday Night Football, Week 11, Cowboys and Texans. Honestly, not the worst game. I'm kind of excited for this one. It's a game that has a relatively low total, like 41 total, but it's going to be a game indoors. Like, I think this game could sneakily shoot out. We'll see. If you're betting on a sportsbook, I kind of like the over 41 in this game. Like, I think this game could be somewhat of a sneaky shootout if the Cowboys offense can show up and play better. But yeah, I got 2 props for this game, guys. If you're going to tail me on these 2 plays, let's try and hit both these plays for Monday night. Let's try and make some money on the slate. As always, I do appreciate you guys watching these Prizepicks videos, supporting the Prizepicks content. Make sure you hit that like button down below if you did enjoy. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, be sure to sign up. Use promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and place your first lineup. You'll get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. So go check out Prizepicks if you guys have not yet. But good luck tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.